A very good evening to all of you, and I'm very happy to be here this evening at Victoria University. I'm very happy to be here at Wellington as part of the tour of the Swamis from, as he said, from the different continents on the occasion of the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. I'll go straight into my subject. Time is a problem. I mean, it's a special problem with me. When I learned communication, our teacher taught me that there's an art of beginning a talk and an art of ending a talk. And now my students tell me, well, Swami, you've mastered the first one. So I have to be careful that I don't keep going on and on and on. There's this book I was looking at on the net. It says, just the arguments. There's a philosopher who has written a book with 100 important arguments in Western philosophy, and he's boiled it down to just the arguments. No supporting, no criticism, no discussion, just the core arguments, like strong black coffee, you know. So what I'm going to do now is present before you just the argument of Advaita Vedanta. But it's going to be very compact, and I would ask you to follow me very carefully all the way. I'm going to be systematic, step by step, but you have to follow me, you have to walk with me. Advaita Vedanta tells you who you are. Concept of the self, the question before us is, who am I? Who are you? And Advaita Vedanta tells you that you are pure consciousness, that this pure consciousness is one and non-dual, Ekam Advitiyam. I'll keep the Sanskrit aside. I'll concentrate more on English and maybe just touch Sanskrit once in a while. What I am going to present before you is a process. In Advaita Vedanta, we have processes, methodologies, which are designed to give you a philosophic insight, actually let you experience this as a fact of life. And I'm going to present before you just one of these processes. They are called prakriyas, methods. So I'm going to present before you one method, just one method, which will demonstrate to you or give you that philosophic insight. Okay, let's go. Let's start straight away. The method which I'm going to present to you is taken from a text, an Advaitic text written about 700 years ago, which is not really all that old when you come to India, where most of the original texts of Advaita Vedanta were the Upanishads, which were composed or revealed, whichever way you have it, 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. So 700 years ago is not all that old. This text is called Drig Drishya Viveka. Drig Drishya Viveka. It means the discrimination, the separation of the seer and the seen. The seer and the seen. Seer in the sense, the one who sees. You can call it the separation of the knower and the known. One who knows and what is known. And it's a method. I'm going to take you through the first verse of this little text. It's just got about 40 verses. And the first verse is the most important maybe, and that gives you the key insight into Advaita Vedanta. So, the talk will be in two parts. The whole argument is in two parts. The first part goes like this. The first part is the discrimination between the knower and the known. And one thing I would like you to hold on to is an operating principle. As we go through this analysis, the operating principle is this. What I know must be different from me. I see this microphone, and this microphone is obviously different from my eyes. The eyes and the microphone, which I see with the eyes and the microphone are different. What I see with the eyes must be different from the eyes. In fact, the only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. The limit of vision is not out there. The limit of your vision is actually here. The closest thing you can see are maybe your spectacles or the tip of your nose, But the eyes cannot see the eyes themselves. If you argue that, well, I can see it in a picture, but it's still a picture. You look at a mirror, you can see your eyes, it's still a reflection. The eyes are not seeing the eyes themselves. So, the seer and the seen are different. That's obvious. We'll use that as a fact to operate and to help us as we go along. Hold on to that fact. At the end, we'll have to abandon this, but I'll tell you when to let go of that. But before that, hold on to the fact that the one who knows, the one who senses, the one who sees is different from that which is known or sensed or seen. And in fact, the first part of the verse has 4 quarters. The first quarter of the verse goes like this. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. The Sanskrit goes like that. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Forms are seen and eyes are the seer. The eyes, lochanam, the eyes are the seer and the forms are the seen. And what do we know? That the eyes, the seer must be different from the seen. And that's an obvious fact. It's a fact of experience. So that's the first thing. The eyes are different from what is seen. That's so obvious, does not need stating. But also, we see something else. What you see with these eyes, you see lots of things. Right now I can see tables and this room and so many people with the same eyes. The sense organ reveals to me a variety of objects of sight. So the forms are many, the seer is one. It doesn't mean I'm one-eyed, but it means that there's one organ of vision. Second. And the third point I would like to make about this is, what is seen keeps changing. I can see white color now, I can see gray, black out there, different colors, different shapes, different forms, but with the same eyes. The eyes remaining unchanged, they see changing things. So we have got these 3 facts. And these 3 are, they're not speculation, they're just, I'm restating a fact of your experience. I'm drawing your attention to what all of us experience, that the eyes are different from what they see. In fact, if they were not, they could not see in fact. And they see many things, the same eyes. And what they see keeps changing, the seer does not change. Okay. Now let's take this a little deeper. The second quarter of the verse, it tells you the eyes themselves become the seen and the mind is the seer. Tad drishyam driktu manasam. The eyes are experienced. Eyes become the object of knowledge and the mind is the knower. My eyes are open. I can't keep my eyes open because I'm bored to death. Okay? Or I can't see properly, I need spectacles. Or I see very well. Who knows these facts about the eyes? I know it in the mind. The mind knows. It's a very commonsensical approach, a very simple, we might say even a very naive approach. So the mind is the seer and the eyes become the seen. Not only the eyes, all the other sense organs. Your ears and the nose and the tongue, all the sense organs are the seen in the sense of being experienced. And the conditions of these sense organs are understood by the mind. So the mind is the seer and the eyes become the seen. Let's go through those facts again. The knower and the known must be different. So using that fact, the mind must be different from what it knows, the eyes. So the mind must be different from the eyes. They must be separate entities. And the different conditions of the eyes are known by the same mind. The different conditions of the different sense organs, eyes and ears and nose and skin, they're all known by the same mind. The knower is one, the known are many. The knower is one, the known keep changing. And most importantly, the knower and the known are different. Even this is not controversial. It's fairly all right. It's also a fact of experience. Now let us go to the third quarter of the verse, and this is where things get interesting. Drishyadhivrittaya sakshi. The Sanskrit goes like this. All the thoughts, ideas, emotions, everything in the mind, your conceptions, your ideas, everything in the mind is actually known. You cannot deny that you know you're happy. When you're sad, you know, you experience your sadness. When you understand a concept, you experience the fact that you understand the concept. When you do not understand what's this guy talking about, you experience the fact that you do not understand. So, whatever is in my mind is an object of my experience. If the mind is an object of experience, then there must be something, some entity experiencing the mind. There is a witness to whatever is happening in your mind right now. And this witness must be first different from the mind, because the knower and the known are different. And this witness, called the Sakshi, this witness is one, whereas the varieties of thoughts in the mind, there are infinite number of thoughts, different types of thoughts. Good and bad, intelligent and dull, and so many varieties of emotions in our minds. And this witness is the one knower of the varieties of experiences going through our minds. And this witness is unchanged, the mind keeps changing. The witness is unchanged, the mind keeps changing. So the knower of the mind must be different from the mind. And this is a big fact. This is something most of us, we don't ever appreciate, we don't know about this. And you know, if you think about this, you'll understand here itself, we have not come to Vedanta yet, we have not come to Advaita yet, it's still far away. But here itself is a tremendous fact. I heard this story about a businessman who was full of misery about his business and all, and he rushed, as they do in India, to a Swami high up in the Himalayas. The higher up you stay, the more wise you are, apparently. So he went pretty high up, and he found this extremely wise person, a Swami, and said, "Swami, I'm full of misery." And the Swami said, "Do you experience your misery? Do you experience your misery?" He said, "Of course I experience it. I'm in pain. I'm miserable. That's why I've come to you. I'm full of misery. Obviously I'm experiencing misery. That's why I've come to you." If you experience your misery, now you know, you can predict what the Swami told him. If you experience your misery, if you know your misery, if you're aware of your misery, then you are the knower of your misery. You are not miserable. The misery is a fact in your mind. It's an object of experience in your mind. Just as this pen is an object apart from my eyes. The eyes must be different from the pen. The pain in the mind, the knower of the pain in the mind must be different. You, the knower of the pain in your mind, you must be different from the pain in your mind. But the story doesn't end here. The real punchline comes a little later. That person thought about it. And if you do think about it, I've seen it myself, I've seen it with a lot of people. If you do this analysis, just sit quietly and think about it. It's an object which was not there earlier. This depression, this misery. When the earth shakes around you and you get shaken, this shakiness. Not only the external shaking, that came and it went. And the internal shaking, that also came and it went. So it was an object. I was there before it, I watched it, and I'm there after it's gone. If you do that, you know what happens? Your mind becomes peaceful. You get a kind of quietude in the mind, a kind of silence, serenity in the mind, a kind of detachment in the mind. And that's what happened to this businessman of ours. And he went to the Swami and he said, "Oh Swami, I am full of peace now." And you know what the Swami said? "No, you are the knower of the peace in your mind. You are not full of peace." And that's so wise, because I am full of peace now. It just means right now I am with Swami in the Himalayas, I'm full of peace. When I go back to Delhi or Mumbai and face my daily troubles, what will happen is the mind again gets disturbed, and the mind has misery, and I'll end up saying that I am again full of misery. I was so happy in the Himalayas. But this detachment, with the happiness in your mind and with the misery in your mind, that's real peace. This is not even Vedanta yet. We are just moving towards Vedanta. Third quarter. And the final quarter, it's very interesting. The one who knows the mind, the knower of the mind, must be separate from the mind. It must be one where the mind is changing, and it must be the knower of the variety of thoughts and experiences in the mind. And immediately would like to know, what is that knower of the mind? That's what Advaita Vedanta is going to tell you. Is it great? Tell me, how can I know the knower of the mind? And the fourth quarter of the verse is the bombshell. It tells you, Drigeva natu drishyate. The knower of the mind is not known, ever. You cannot know it. Oh, then you said, oh, then we should have told us before. We wouldn't have come to the seminar. You're going to say that concept of the self, I'm going to know who am I, and now you come and take all this trouble, you come and tell me you can never know it. 700 years ago, Indian philosopher said, Drigeva natu drishyate. This pure consciousness is so wonderful, you can never know it. In fact, it's a great blessing that you can never know it. Because it is the knower, it is you yourself. The moment you know it, then you become apart from it. Who knows the knower? Swami Vivekananda said in a lecture more than 100 years ago in London, he said exactly this thing, and then he said, but you must not go away with the idea that it is unknown or unknowable. It is more than known. It is you shining forth as the knower, which illumines the mind and its various thoughts. It's you shining forth as the knower, which illumines the sense organs through the mind. And through the mind and the sense organs, you illumine the entire world and experience the world. But you are none of this. Just as I am not this pen, I am not even this body. Because this body is known. It's an object of knowledge, and I know it. I'm not even the mind. I am the observer of the mind. I am that consciousness which illumines the mind. Now, this pure consciousness illumining the mind is the answer that Advaita Vedanta gives to this question, who am I? Concept of the self. Shankaracharya, maybe the most profound philosopher in Advaita Vedanta tradition, about 1300 years ago in India, he composed the beautiful Nirvana Shatakam, where he says, Manobuddhyahankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jibhe, nacha grana netre, nacha vyoma bhumi, na tejo na vayu, chidananda rupaha, shivoham shivoham. I'll translate, and I won't even have to explain, because with this background you'll immediately know what he's trying to say. He says, I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. I am not even the I. That's interesting. When you say I, that I is an object of your knowledge. I am not the memory. All the good things and the bad things and the guilt and the everything which we hold on to. I am not even that. I am not the sense organs. I am not the physical body made of the 5 elements. Then what am I? Consciousness. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. I am consciousness, I am bliss, I am auspiciousness. Now, there are 2 more steps. I mean, there's actually 1 more step which I need to take. I'm collapsing 2 steps into 1. I said the lecture will be in 2 parts. The first part is over. You are pure consciousness. You know, a question pops up at this moment. A philosopher would think of this question. You are saying, I am not the body. I am not the mind. So I am becoming smaller? I thought I was body and mind. I am maybe consciousness. That's great. I am consciousness. But I am consciousness plus body and plus mind. And now you have deducted the body and deducted the mind. So I am becoming vanishingly less and less and less. A philosopher said, I think Leibniz's monads, he said, you sink to a point of metaphysical nothingness. So is this what Advaita is saying? Is a question. Keep it in mind. A subsidiary question. But 2 big questions come up before you. What are the 2 big questions with which we go to the second and last stage of this presentation? 2 big questions would be, first, you said, Swami, that I am not this body because I am the knower of the body. I am not the mind, I am the knower of the mind. I am the illuminer of the stream of changes called the body. I am the illuminer of the stream of changes called the mind. Is there such a consciousness and illuminer in every body and mind? I mean, how many witnesses are there? 1 here and 1 here and 1 here, and 6 billion witnesses, and all the animals and all the things which have minds and bodies. They have got so many billions and billions of witnesses. Are there many witnesses, infinitely many, or 1? And the second question is, what about God? You have divided the world into 2 parts. One is the known and one is the knower. Where is God? Out there? An object of knowledge? in here which would make me God? Me God. I can be pure consciousness, but not God. So these are two questions. And I'm not going to argue that part. I'll just tell you what is there in Vedanta. Vedanta says in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, after explaining to him how he's apart from body and mind, he's a knower of the body and mind, pure consciousness. And then he says, in one sentence, he answers these two questions. How many knowers are there? And where is God? What about God? He says, Kshetragyam chapi mam viddhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. O Arjuna, know me, the Lord, God, to be the knower in all these known objects. That pure consciousness which you discovered, the witness of your mind, of your body, that is one in all. It's one consciousness. And that consciousness is God. So the first question is, how many knowers are there? How many consciousnesses? One consciousness. And that is the knower of your mind, of your body, and through the mind and body, the entire universe. And that consciousness is God. That is the meaning of the Vedantic dictum, Tat Tvamasi, thou art that. You are that divinity. When? After yoga and after meditation and after so much of prayer and after so many lives? No, now. Just now, just here, right now. I remember I was reading this with a Swami in Gangotri, 10,000 feet high in the Himalayas, and the Swami was talking about this, and other Swamis were sitting. And we were a strange collection, some living in caves, some in huts, some with shaved heads, some with long beards, and so on and so forth. And sitting and listening to this, and then he said in Hindi, "Ye bada ulta darshan hai, tum hi Ram." And this is a very contradictory philosophy. You are Rama, the God. You are Krishna or Rama. And he says, whether you accept it or not, you are that. You can't change it, it's a fact. It's your wish to play in this form as a such and such person. Go ahead. So, here is the unity. One consciousness in all beings. You are, in fact, everybody. But still we have not reached non-dualism. And I've still got 5 minutes. That's wonderful. I'm doing great. 4,000 years of philosophy in 30 minutes. Okay. The last step, I'll give you an analogy to reach non-duality. Non-duality means one reality. You still don't have one reality. If you consider what I have said, if you accept that there is one consciousness, but there are lots of things which are known, which are objects of knowledge to that consciousness. So there are billions of things. There are tables and chairs and the worlds and planets and galaxies, atoms. There are ideas and concepts and mathematical entities and Platonic entities. So no, God knows what all. Everything's there. How is it non-dual? So the answer to that would be, Krishna says this in the next line, but I'll just give you an analogy to show you how they think. Imagine a dream. When you are dreaming, so I'm dreaming, I'm in this hall and listening to a weird lecture by an even more weird guy, and then you wake up suddenly, and then you realize that hall and the people sitting in the hall whom you saw, and that guy giving a lecture, and the lecture itself, and you yourself who were sitting in that hall, all of it was a construct of your mind. Based on your memories, fine, what you saw and experienced earlier in the evening. So everything that you saw and you experienced, all the objects of your knowledge in the dream were actually constructs of your mind. Your mind was projecting itself out and projecting you yourself into a dream body, something like the Matrix, like the movie. There's actually a book, Matrix and Philosophy. The makers were influenced, they don't say they were influenced by Buddhism or by Vedanta, but they do say they were influenced by Plato's idea of forms, and they say that. Exactly in the same way, Advaita Vedanta says there is this one non-dual consciousness, you, and by the power which they call Maya, this entire universe is projected within that non-dual consciousness. Swami Vivekananda says in his beautiful poem, Song of the Sannyasi, he says, one alone exists, in him is Maya dreaming this dream. Let me give you another analogy. Here's a big mirror. In fact, there is a glass right behind you, and you can see the entire classroom there. You can see everybody in there, right? Yeah, exactly, right behind you. You can see me and you can see yourself and you can see everything going on there. But that's only glass. Just as in a mirror, if I put a mirror here, you see everybody and there's nobody outside. I mean, don't say it just because we are there, we are getting reflected. But imagine, there's only the mirror and there are people you can see. All of it is glass only. It's a display of glass and light. And there are no real people, no real classroom, no. It's just one reality appearing in so many forms. And this is, in fact, I'm translating from Shankaracharya's Dakshinamurti Stotram, a beautiful verse, a hymn, which he wrote some 1300 years ago. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam pashyan nijantargatam mayaya bahiriva udbhutam nidraya. He says, the universe is like a city seen in a mirror. Like a city seen in a mirror. There is no external thing which is reflected in the mirror. The mirror of consciousness projects that city, just like you dream of things, like what you experience in a dream. I remember 30 years back, I was a little kid driving back from Cuttack, gentleman there knows that, and to Bhubaneswar, and I had this strange experience. It was night and we are driving along, there are no lights outside, and the city which we are driving to, the entire city with its lights and everything was reflected in the driving mirror of the vehicle. You could see the city in the vehicle. And I did not know about Shankaracharya's hymn at that time. Many years later when I read it, I was electrified. When you see the city in a mirror, the universe is like that. You are the mirror of consciousness in which the entire universe is reflected. It's not poetry to say that you are everything. It's not poetry to say that I am all of you. It's a fact. It's a philosophical insight. You may do lots of yoga and prayer and meditation, that's all very good. The whole purpose is to come to this insight which is right now, right here. Thank you very much.